Thor Ragnarok. Non-spoiler. This movie stars Chris Hemsworth as Thor, Tim Hiddleston as Loki, of course, Kate Blanchett as Hela. She did a pretty good job. She's a formidable big bad, and she was casually the bad guy. She didn't have to put a lot of effort into it to be who she wanted to be in this movie. Good job. Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk. You wouldn't normally consider a 11-foot tall, 2,000-pound, ridiculously muscular monster that can pretty much destroy anything with a swipe of his hand comical. But he was funny in this movie. He was hilarious. To start off with, non-spoiler, Thor's in chains, and he needs to free himself so that he can go on this journey. It's important to Asgard and in part the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. He runs into the Hulk during his journey, and they do a cosmic buddy cop type thing. Two opposites attract. They're from the wrong sides of the track, but if they get their heads together, they can solve the mystery. It's that kind of a thing. They're two different type of guys. They're both superhumanly strong, but they're two different aspects, and they have to put their heads together. They got to work together in order to finish the movie, really. This movie has a lot of Asgardian type, Thor type villains. It's got a little bit of the mythological thing thrown into the comic version of the mythology. One thing that I will say, this is a spoiler, but it's a small spoiler. Hela in the normal comic books, Marvel comic books, and in normal mythology is the daughter of Loki. That ain't the case in this movie. They're related, but it's not father and daughter. I have no idea why they changed that. It just seemed out of place. Seemed like they did something that they didn't have to do. Like if Thor showed up and his cape was purple, you'd be like, well, that doesn't add or subtract from the movie. Why'd you even do it? That's how I felt about them changing her. When they say it a few times in the movie who she is, but I'm like, I don't think you needed that. Scourge in the movie is another person that kind of didn't really need to be there. It was like they made the movie and they said, you know what would be cool? Let's stick this guy in the movie. But he doesn't really do anything that warrants his presence in the movie. I mean, there's one little itty bitty thing he did that literally anybody else could have done. There's a guy that dies right before it happens, and he could have been like, oh, I'm dying, and pushed the button. He could have did whatever Scourge did in the movie. That's the guy with the bald head and the two black lines. He could have, he was unnecessary to me in the movie. I don't know why he was there. There was tons of color. The originator of a lot of Marvel's earlier stuff was a dude named Jack Kirby, and he used a lot of colors: reds, yellows, pinks, blues, greens. He just saturated the canvas with color. And kind of in a tribute to him, most of the movie is played out big and bold and powerful colors, and it works. You know, they're on a foreign planet for most of the time, and it made it look alien, you know, because the colors were so bright. Everything was so bright, you know. So that was a plus. There was a lot of comedy. The comedy, dare I say, rivaled the original Guardians of the Galaxy. There was just a lot of stuff that you were like, that was funny. And it was. There was a lot of laugh out loud moments. You'll dig that. I dug it. There was tons of action too, almost from the moment the movie started. Within like the first maybe 10 minutes of the movie starting, it was action, action, action. A little bit of talking, action, action, action. A little bit of talking. It was great. It was for an action movie, especially a comic book movie. It was a great blend of action and comedy. Action, just a little bit of dialogue. Enough to keep you interested, to let you know exactly what was going on. But then somebody got punched in the face, and I'm like, that's great. If you've seen the previews, then you know that the Hulk and Thor fight, that was one of the best fights so far. I would say in Marvel, but in comic book movies, period, that was one of the better fights. Definitely out of all of the fights in all of the comic book movies, this is going to be easily in the top 5, maybe in the top 3. Great fight between those two. I was going in expecting a huge buildup for the Avengers, Infinity War, or maybe something for Black Panther. Stay for the end of the movie, man. You got 2 Easter eggs. 2 of them. And one of them is almost purely for comedy, you know, it's like, oh, that was funny. The other one, you're like, pay attention to it. Because if you are someone who's following the movies, or if you're a big comic book fan, it'll make sense, or at least you'll have some idea. You'll be able to speculate and say, oh, well, I think that this is what's happening. And you're probably right. So this is my non-spoiler review. Great movie. In fact, I would give this movie 9 bags of popcorn. 9 bags of popcorn. Great movie. And if you like the video, if you like the content, as always, subscribe and then like.
Popcorn passport. Get your popcorn passport.